Hey everyone, this is a very interesting episode because right now, as we are live streaming this, the Survivor merge is happening. I don't know what kind of merge it is. The hourglass twist is gone, so we don't have to worry about that shit.
Thank
But
God.
apparently,
It's so
there's still some
stupid.
element of like earning the merge or whatever. So what we want to do, because by the time we finish talking about Survivor, it's going to be past 9 o'clock Eastern time. So we're going to know who goes home. We're not going to know, and I'm going to put this
All right,
up
I'm
now
done.
because we don't want anyone to put any spoilers in the chat. So if you're watching the episode, please just don't tell us what's going on. We're going to wait till tonight to watch the episode. It's just this is the only time we can record this show. So what we're going to do first, before we rank our whole cast on who's safest to who's least safe, because the show is airing as the merge is happening, we want to put our merge boots on paper first to then just say this is who we predict is going to go home, and then we will do our normal ranking. It's just we wanted to get the name of our boot prediction in now because at 9 o'clock we don't want it to be like, we don't want people to accuse us of cheating or anything like that. So
No,
I have
this is not
I have my merge boot written down, who I think it's going to
Yeah,
be. And we're
I have
going to reveal it to
mine
each other later.
too.
We're going to reveal it to each other later, but like we're doing this now because in 20 minutes, someone's going to be voted out of Survivor. We may get texted by someone. We both subscribe per Iridium, so there's a chance it could pop up on our phones, and we don't want to accidentally have that skew our rankings. So to cement it in, all right, we're going to look away from each other. We're not looking at each other, Zach. Look that way.
Oh, we're not looking?
No, because we're gonna still reveal in our rankings. It's just I just want viewers to see it so they can hold us true to our predictions before it happens. This has never happened before because we've always podcasted before the episode, but we are podcasting before the boot. So Zach, look away. We're gonna flash it on the screen for 3 seconds and then put it back. All right, ready? So on the count of 3, you're gonna show it, and then 3 seconds after that, we're gonna delete it. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. That's who we're predicting. 1, 2, 3. And we're gone. So there we go.
I hope they could see it.
Yes, and I wonder if they're the same. And we're about to find that out right now. But now that we've kind of told you all who we're predicting to go home, now in 20 minutes, if we get texted, oh my God, this person went home, we'll be like, all right, great, we predicted it. We're going to get into our rankings. But first, I mean, dude, 2 weeks of Survivor. And we're seeing people we had at the tippity top of the list. Lindsay go from the safest.
Well, wait, can we see? I was gonna say, can we see where our rankings are at? Because So
here's the deal. Here's was Lindsay's week where you had her at 4, I had her at 6. Because listen, Lindsay, Carla, Cassidy, and James.
No, you're right.
And who was the other? Yeah, Lindsay, Carla, Cassidy, and James. The 3 girls and James were in control of that tribe. It was gonna be either Gio or Ryan. But somehow Lindsay, her paranoia got her sent home. And that just goes to show that you can be the safest person in the game. But if you don't have idols and advantages, and if you're paranoid and your alliance does not want to work with you, because of that, you'll go home. So I got 6 points. Zach got 4. So I went up. I narrowed the gap by 1 because Zach had me on the.
And I think you've tied. I think you've tied after last week, haven't you?
Well, that is not the case, sir, because the week after we both had Gio at 11th. So
I thought I had him 1 above you. Yeah. Thank God.
Nope, we had him in the same spot. It's just you had a point above me for Justine the week before.
No,
so
I
thought
that I had him above you for that, so you would have caught a point up.
Yeah. Nope. We had the same placement for Gio, and I think that's warranted because Gio, for weeks, they've been setting up his downfall. And I'll be honest, for how hard Ryan was playing wrong, I am shocked that Gio ends up being the boot. And I think we got to kind of assess 2 different things. Because Lindsay, it's just her paranoia got her sent home. There's not really much you can talk about there except for just being paranoid and going not crazy.
Well, Dylan, there's a common theme in why it's Gio and it's Ryan, not Ryan, and there's a common theme why it's Lindsay and it wasn't someone else. And her name is Carla. Her name is Carla, Dylan.
Yeah,
her name is Carla. The theme of the day is Carla.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put this up again. Again, if you're watching the episode, please no spoilers in the chat.
Correct.
For who's going home, who wins, immunity, all that stuff. We don't want to know. But yeah, the thing is, it's like Carla. The safest move is to go forward with the 3 girls and James, but she gets rid of Lindsay because at that point, strength is still important. I do think Gio had a little bit more to offer strength-wise to the tribe, and because Gio trusted her. But then in this next boot, Ryan's the one who's going nuts. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, if we have another tribe challenge, we want Ryan rather than Gio.
Well, but also,
yeah, go ahead.
Also, Gio made the most fatal. Gio probably does survive the week. if he doesn't make one of the worst moves in the entire game, which is when you have a power, tell someone about it. He tells Carla about his knowledge of power. He tells the one person on the tribe who has an idol that he has a power in which he can steal an idol or a power. He doesn't know that she has the idol,
That's my
but
point,
he makes the fatal flaw of trusting someone with information that, truthfully, I mean, that information's not pertinent at that moment. That's something to keep in your back pocket for the week after. That's something to keep in your pocket for, hey, we are, hey, we're moving into the merge. Like, you guys kept me safe. I know you got rid of Ryan, but I just wanted to let you know, like, I've got this power, and if we can figure out who else has idols, like, you're good in my book. He makes the fatal flaw. He plays his cards before there's a reason to. There was he had no reason to go. He didn't even think he was at risk.
Yeah. And honestly, I do think if Carla hadn't found an idol, I think he's okay, because I think she would be like, great, we'll use that to my advantage. But I think because Carla can get it taken from her, this knowledge of his power is 0 for 3. I mean, 3 times now.
Because it's useless, if I'm honest with you.
Well, it is useful if you don't tell anyone.
But that's why it's such a useless power in something like Survivor, because the game of Survivor is half your advantage, and the other game is the other part of the game is playing the trust the correct way. And as far as I'm concerned, unless you have said, like, we are sitting in the finals together 100%, you never give away your secrets, especially a power. Like, if it had been something like, I can steal so-and-so's vote, different. To steal an idol?
What Noel has, yeah.
Okay, but right. Well, that's what I mean. Like, to talk about a steal a vote is different. Or steal, even like steal an advantage in the realm of, like, if there are 2 knowledge's power, I can grab the other knowledge's power, and that takes it away from somebody else. But to say something like, I can steal an idol to anyone is ridiculous.
Yeah, because you don't know who has them. And I think that's the thing, is like, Liana takes Xander's idol if she doesn't tell anyone about her advantage. And that's a big move. Who had it the next season? Who was taking it from Mike? Was it Drea? I think it was Drea. And Mike was like, no, you can't have this. If Drea doesn't tell people, Mike and Omer don't make that move on her. And this season as well. If Gio doesn't tell anyone, and Gio gets a whiff that someone has an idol, he can take it, and then he's the most powerful player. And yes, that puts a target on your back, because that's why I think this is a lose-lose. Because even if you use the advantage correctly, you still have a target on your back. So, like, it's only good for short-term game. It really is a terrible twist to get, and that's why I think a lot of people are like, that was a stupid move to go to the Shipwheel Island or whatever and, like, take the chance and risk your vote. But at that point, Gio felt safe. Gio felt safe, and we talk about, we'll see Jesse and Janine do the same thing. Janine has an idol. She should absolutely risk her vote because she has nothing to lose and she has protection. Jesse, I think his mistake is definitely risking his vote because he was on a tribe of 4 where Noel can already steal a vote and Cody has an idol. He has no room to maneuver, and thank God there's a merge, because if there was no merge and they go to tribal, it's Jesse or Dwight, and Jesse could get his votes taken away from him. And he already did. He got his vote taken away from him by risking it. But Janine definitely should have risked. And I do think Gio should have risked because he felt safe. He thought he was in a good position because Carla and him did have trust originally. But yeah, this Ryan move is terrible. First, you throw the challenge, and I don't really know if he actually threw the challenge or if he was
I don't think he threw it. I don't think he threw it.
I think he was just saying that, though. And then when he went back to camp, was like, I'm going to make this huge move. I'm making everyone think that I lost a challenge for them, make them want to vote me out, only to have Cassidy kind of get the wool pulling over her eyes. But what has Cassidy done to at all make herself a target, aside from the fact that she's the smallest girl in the tribe? Because I really don't think Cassidy did anything that warrants a target. Like, Ryan is purposely going out of his way to make himself the target, to put the target on Cassidy, when Cassidy has done nothing to no one. All she did once was say that she was a little nervous, and Carla and James were like, is this a Lindsay 2.0? And then they're like, no, it's not. It's fine. The 3 of them vote together. They get out Gio. But, like, Cassidy didn't do anything that warranted a target. So that's why I don't know why Ryan and Gio were so confident that they would be able to get her out. You know what I'm saying? She didn't do anything that is so, like Lindsay, where it's, like, so glaringly obvious that that's a target painted on them. You know, and that's why I never understood Ryan's move or Gio's.
Here's the thing about here's the thing about the show is that, unfortunately, because I've been trying to what's it called? I've been trying to catch up on all sides. So I've been listening to a lot of exit interviews, which I haven't normally done.
Cool.
And the Lindsay exit interview is big. I listen to, obviously, Rob has a podcast for that one. And one of the things that she made note of is that her exit looks ridiculous. Not ridiculous in the fact that, like, you know, she wasn't a good player, but it's a complete 180. In the span of an hour, they went from, we're good with her, to, why is Lindsay so paranoid? And one of the questions Rob asks immediately is, you know, is there more we're not getting? And her immediate answer is, absolutely. There's a lot more to the show that you are missing. So I think in regards to what you're talking about, Cassidy, I think there's more that we just don't see. Obviously, they can't show us everything, but I think it's been, I will say, I think the notation should be, what's very important is Cassidy went from pretty much invisible to visible very quickly. She went from invisible to visible.
Too. Like
and
she got the great confessional when she was voting. Like, I put the blanks in your gun, I sealed your fate. And honestly, she didn't. Carla and James did. But the fact that the show is showing us that she is taking credit for it, the fact that CBS is giving the credit to Cassidy, I think that's a great thing for Cassidy. I think Cassidy...
I disagree with you. You think of her as an Erica. I think of her as a Sydney. I think she's way more of a Sydney, because Sydney was great. I mean, Sydney played so well. She played strong, and she didn't even really misplay. She just got put in a crappy situation with the Hourglass.
Yeah, Hourglass. Now, and also she never had to go to tribal pre-merge, which also I think hurt because she wasn't able to kind of suss out the relationships on her tribe. Whereas I do think Cassidy now has, and she now has a solid 3 with Carla and James.
However, here's the thing. Here's the problem about Cassidy. Sure, she's a solid 3. But Ryan, for all intents and purposes, free agent. Free agent.
Oh, yeah.
Carla, I don't think there was... people are very much like, ooh, they really tried to like throw us for a loop, making us think they'd get rid of Cassidy. Nah, I don't think that's what they were trying to do. What I think they were trying to do was, hey... we've really painted Cassidy like she's coming up, but they're not stupid. And Carla and James run that tribe right now. Ryan wants Cassidy out so bad. As far as I see it, and again, I'm without even saying rankings because it doesn't say where they are, how low or how high they are.
The fact that you wrote Cassidy on your board. It's okay. We'll get there when we get there.
We'll find out.
Oh no.
As far as I see it, when you head to tribal, if Coco is headed to tribal, one of two things happens. The one thing, and the easiest thing to do is they say, Ryan, you shot your shot, and sorry, man. And they just vote Ryan out because it's easiest. Here's why that's not a good idea. And I'm going to give it to you why it's not a good idea. Because as far as I'm concerned, you have Cassidy speaking, about how she thinks she's made this move, how, Carla and James wanted to get rid of, Gio instead of, or Ryan instead of Gio, or whatever, whatever it was.
Cassidy was trying to get rid of Ryan. Carla and James swayed it to Gio.
You know what I
mean? But then Cassidy at voting got the credit for Gio, which was interesting because Cassidy,
but that's what I mean, is that they, you've got this girl taking credit for a move she didn't make. As far as I'm concerned, Cassidy's the threat. That moment in that line was great. It was such a dumb move, if I'm being honest with you. I think that it's a dumb move because
we're the only ones who saw it. Carla and James didn't see her say that.
But
the blanks in the gun, that was all to the camera.
But again, I'm of the opinion there's a lot we don't see, and I'm of the opinion that that's probably going to start coming out. That confidence. Yeah, I think that, and if I'm Carla, I mean, again, I've got nothing to worry about because I've got an idol, but I'm running, when I go to the merge and I got people talking about, if I got people talking about like the moves and how good I am, you don't want that. You want your 3 solid. You want James, Carla, Ryan. That's what I think that's what I would want. I would want the person who owes me, who I can say, hey, we could get rid of you. But if you if you stick with us and you get Cassidy out, well, then as far as we're concerned, we're good. We're
Yeah,
good.
but the
I
problem
think
is
that's
also
a
now
smarter
they're
move.
merging, and I don't know if Ryan's going to want to stick with Carla and James because I think he's going to feel more burned by Carla and James. I don't think he's going to be burned by Cassidy because Cassidy, they were very open that Cassidy was going for Gio and Ryan and Gio were going for Cassidy. It's Carla and James that come across as the betrayal, and that's why I'm a little worried, honestly, of anyone for Carla because Carla's the one. We said episode 1, she's connected with so many people that eventually she's going to have to vote them out. And Lindsay was easy because she was paranoid. You can make that excuse. Now, going after Gio, now you have no way to explain that to Ryan except for the fact that, like, he's on the outs. Like, and I think that's the thing. And I
Not you
think
blame it on Cassidy. You blame it on
Yeah,
Cassidy.
but that's the thing is I
She's
don't know
ready
if
to
they want
take
to
the
give
credit.
Cassidy
She's ready to take the credit.
on camera, though. I think Cassidy's smart enough, though, to know that who she's playing to on the camera is different than her tribe. I don't think she's showing that to her tribe. I really don't think so. I don't think they...
I
or they
think
would have
that
gotten rid
she's
of her already. I don't know.
I don't know. I think she's raring to slip up. I think she's raring to slip up.
Well, let's get into our rankings because we saw a lot of blue. We didn't see a lot of red and yellow, but we are going to still talk about red and yellow because we're going to do the rankings. Who do you have at your number 1 spot? Because my number 1 is someone who I don't think has much longevity in the game at all, but because this is we know he's going to tribal because Gabler is going to tribal. We know he has to play the idol. If he does not play the idol, he is the dumbest survivor ever.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say that he has a potential to not because he is dumb, but at the same time, they have been making him and Sammy look a lot smarter than Janine and Ellie. And I think that's going to show that Gabler is smart enough. He's not smart, but I think he's smart enough. He is my first place only because I think this week, if they go to tribal and he doesn't have immunity, if he has immunity, that's even better because I don't know. If he has immunity, he still has to play his idol. So, because he can only play at the first 2 tribals he's at. So he has to play this idol no matter what this week. So he's going to either make a move if he has immunity, or if he doesn't have immunity, he'll save himself. Like, there's no way he will not use his idol. So he's my number 1.
I mean, I have him at number 2. And again, the only reason he's at number 2 is because I think he's a big enough idiot that he could slip up. You know who won't slip up is Carla. She's my number 2. She's my number 2. Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, my 1, 2, 3, and 4 all have advantages.
Okay.
But my 1, 2, and 3 are not all idol holders. So clearly,
so you have another idol holder lower. Gotcha.
Yes. So Carla was your number 2. You said correct.
Yeah, Carla's my number 2, and I do have for the reasons that he has an idol. Cody is my number 3. I'm just sticking with it because at a merge, if you have an idol.
So here's why Cody is not my number 3, and he's actually my number 4. Noelle is my number 3 because if Cody fumbles the ball, man, I can see him again. It's one of those like what if scenarios, and it could never happen, and we're overthinking it, and like they probably don't even think about it nearly as much as we are thinking about it while we watch because we're getting fed the information. But I just think that there is a world in which Cody can slip up and Noelle has less of a chance to, because when you have a steal a vote and you feel your tribe going one way, all you have to, I mean, the vote on the tribe is 3, and she technically controls 2 of the votes. So if again there is a world in which Cody using the idol plays well for her, like there's not a world where Noelle makes the right decision when Cody makes the wrong and vice versa. In fact, they could both do nothing and it would be fine. I think there's one person on the red tribe who is clearly like the least safe, and that's we'll get there.
Well, yeah, he has no vote. Yeah.
Right, but I think that for me, Cody is only lower than Noelle. Just to like kind of pad my ranking a little bit because I had a feeling you'd put Cody up higher than her, and only because I think that they have done such a great job at painting Noelle's comeback that I just can't. I don't know if she necessarily is the winner, but I don't think she goes right away. I think she's a fighter, and that's big, and so she's gonna fight when needed to make sure that she keeps her station in the game. So she's my 3. Cody's my 4. You already said.
Cody's your 4. My 4 is James because I think right now he's Carla's right-hand man, and I do think when the move to get Carla happens, and I'm admitting it right now, I don't think Carla's going to win this game because she is such a obvious winner right now that I feel like whoever gets out Carla is going to be the winner. It's the same thing we've seen the past 2 seasons. Erica gets out Ricard and Shan. Erica's the winner. Marianne gets out Omer. Marianne's the winner. I think it's going to happen this season where whoever gets rid of Carla is going to be the winner. I do see them maybe going after James as a way to attack Carla, but I don't think it's going to happen this week because I think those three blues are solid. And I know you don't think Cassidy is, but Cassidy's my number 5 for that reason because I think the three of them are super solid. And the good thing is that even though they are the blue tribe that was winning all those challenges, going to tribal 2 times in a row immediately lowers their threat level to where now the numbers are with yellow. I think everyone's going to be looking to get out someone on yellow. I don't think everyone's going to be looking at blue anymore because it is a little fractured because of the Ryan thing as well. I think Ryan's going to be a free agent, but that could also make him an easy target. Whereas I think the three of them, Carla, James, and Cassidy, are all going to band together, be fine. And I think they're all cool enough where people will still want to work with them because I do think Cassidy and James and Carla are all very low-key people. Like, I really think, despite Cassidy saying what she's saying to the camera and Carla saying what she's saying to the camera, in the tribe on the beach, they are very chill. Cassidy's very much like, we're all kumbaya family. James is very solid. Like, he's the party planner. He's having fun with everyone. I love James. My dad's favorite is James. My dad loves James. His laugh. He goes, James is hilarious. And I'm like,
of course he does.
James is hilarious. He's a funny guy. And Carla, same thing. Like, everyone comes to Carla because she's unassuming. And I think the three of them, eventually they're going to think Carla's the biggest threat and they're going to go after her and maybe tangentially James, but I don't think it's happening yet. And I do think Cassidy, I'll admit it right now. I said earlier, I don't think Carla's the winner because just it's too obvious. I'm predicting right now Cassidy is winning this season. And I think it's because I know
you're wrong, man.
I'm predicting right now that Cassidy, and I know it happened. It's 9:00 now. Let's not look at spoilers because it's out there. So someone went home. Don't tell us who it is, please. If you're tuning in now, please
don't tell us
in the chat.
Don't
we don't
want to
know until later. But Cassie's my number 5 because I do think the edit is making her look really good and giving her credit for moves that I think are Carla's. They gave her that credit for the Geo move, and that was Carla's move. And I just think that means something good. The first episode, she says, I want to lower my threat level. I want to be the fox that no one sees coming. I want to play a low-key game to then strike later. And I think this wasn't even her striking now. I think this is still Carla's game. I think the striking later, I honestly think Cassidy might be the one to turn on Carla, kind of like what Ricard did to Shan. I really do think Cassidy has the potential to be a great player. Maybe it's because I have a crush on her. Maybe. But I also think she's really good at the game. I think she's unassuming. I think she's playing a good game. I think she has really good strategy potential. So my 5th is Cassidy, only because I think she has a good long-term game. Realistically, she might be a little lower because she doesn't have any advantages or anything like that. But her, James, and Carla just feel so solid to me. That's why Carla's my 2, James is my 4, Cassie's my 5. Who is your number 4 and who's your number 5?
I told you who my number 4 was.
It's Cody. That's
hi, Reese.
Who's your number 5? Sorry.
My number 5 is Dwight.
Dwight is my number 6. Dwight is my number 6.
and James is my number 6. I mean, they are the right hands to 2 of the stronger players in the game. Mm-hmm. They don't need much explanation, I think. Mainly just because I feel like they sit. I don't foresee them winning. It's kind of the Ricard and Shan scenario where it's like, yeah, great, you're on the right side of the vote most of the time, but then what are you going to have to do at the end when people ask you what your game move was and your game move is I stuck with Carla or I stuck with Noelle? Like, that doesn't do much. So I think that I think they're both good. I don't foresee them going home. But yeah, I don't have. It sucks. I don't have much to say. It's kind of just like
I mean, Dwight has really.
I think they're safe.
Dwight has really kind of gone the invisible route since that first episode. Like, I feel like we've rarely seen him, and I think that's a good thing for his longevity. But I don't see him winning at this point. But at the same time, of that red 4, I think he's even safer than Cody. It's just Cody has the idol. I think Dwight is well positioned. Like, everyone likes him, and he hasn't really pissed anyone off. And he has, from the first episode, those connections with people from other tribes. So I really think he's going to be okay because he went on that journey with, I forget who went on the first journey. Was it Owen and I can't remember exactly. Oh, no, it was Gabler because Gabler won that idol. Dwight, Gabler, and I forget who it was from Blue. Carla? Was Carla on that first voyage?
Yes.
Journey? I don't remember.
It was one of them. We have a guest star.
I don't remember.
So.
Yes. Hello, Reese. Hello. So, yeah, I think Dwight is my 6 because I think he's just well positioned and he knows about Noelle's steal a vote. I really do think Noelle has power with the steal a vote, but if she uses that steal a vote, she's still vulnerable. She's not safe. And I think
I think there's
if she steals someone's vote, people could be like, "Oh shit, I got to vote for her," and they might vote for her. Whereas Dwight knows that she has a steal a vote and can kind of direct her in that way, but he doesn't get any of the heat for it. So I think Dwight's in a really good position. And then
I agree 100%.
Yeah, my number 7, I can't believe I'm putting him this high because he's been my boot prediction for weeks. It's Sammy. And honestly, the reason I have him higher is because I think Sammy, in the pre-merge, if that tribal 5 goes to tribal, the girls are together, Gabler is an idol, and Owen may side with the girls, which is why I was putting Sammy in the outs. But now with a merge, now you don't need to worry about who's with who on
Now
this
you don't need
5
to
because
worry
now
about
it's
that.
13. He doesn't need to worry about being pigeonholed. And even though he is kind of, the one guy on yellow without protection or without the swing vote, him and Owen, and spoiler alert, Owen's my number 8 for a similar reason. Sammy,
That's
has been
fine
telling-
because Owen is my number 7 and Sammy is my number 8. So we're
There you go.
just going
Yeah, there we go.
opposites.
But yeah, like Owen seems to be tight enough with the girls that he can like side with them, but again, tight enough with Sammy and Gabler to where he can side with them. I think Owen's a fun swing vote, but at the same time, that could be dangerous if everyone's like,
Yeah.
Owen's a swing vote. Let's go for Owen. But I think Sammy is the one giving Gabler all the information. If Gabler does win immunity, who's Gabler giving that idol to?
God, Gabler's
Gabler
nothing
has to
about.
play the idol if he wins immunity. Because if this is one of those cases where like you have to earn your way to the merge, and half of the tribe wins immunity, and Gabler wins, he has to play the idol when he goes to tribal. So he could give the idol to Sammy, and Sammy's fine too. So I think Sammy and Owen are in this fun swing position where I don't think they're going to be the first threats because they're not vocal enough. I think Sammy could be threatened a little bit later on, could be threatening because of his strength, but I really do think the two of them are going to be able to kind of bounce around this middle ground. I think they're going to be fun to watch this merge. I'm very excited to see how they do.
I think it's going to be a reset for their game, if I'm honest, because then, I mean, Sammy can take all the credit for Gabler's moves and the things that he does without having all the stupid that is Gabler. Because I really I know that Gabler is high for me, and I know that he's high on us because there's really just no reason for him to not be. I mean, it would be ridiculous for him to go home tonight because there's just, I mean, come on, man. But I mean, like, Sammy has so much potential to redirect his way through the game and make it very, very far to the end. And I would love to see that happen. At my number 9, I have Janine, who of course has an idol, but
9
of course
is Janine for me too. Yeah,
I just don't trust her to make the right play, man. I don't trust her. I don't trust her to make the right fucking play. I don't think she'll make the right play. I think that if forced to use I can't believe I'm going to say it. If who I think is going to go home tonight goes home or is threatened to go home, and Janine doesn't make a move to play her idol for her, I mean, like, it's just, if Janine is not smart, she'll use the idol on that person, and then she'll go home instead, and that's just what will happen. Because that's what I would do.
Yeah, so I think with Janine, the thing is, she has an idol, and I put the top 3 all have idols: Carla, Gabler, Cody. But the reason I put her lower is because she also lost a vote, and I really do think
that's also true. I forgot.
The thing is, she lost a vote, so she's not going to be able to help her allies, but she is going to be able to protect herself, which is why I put her higher, because I do think she'll be able to get out of a tricky situation if she's in one with just the idol. She has the idol. She should be safe. But my only worry is that because she doesn't have a vote, she's going to scramble a little bit too much, and maybe they're going to target her, and maybe she's going to want to hold on to her idol a little longer. I really think if Cody catches wind, Cody's been very smart in this game, as stupid as we thought he was in the preseason.
No, yeah.
Carlos been smart. Gabler has to play his idol. Janine is the only one I could see misplaying her idol and going home with an idol in her pocket.
I 100% agree with you.
I don't have her in that bottom 4 because she has the idol, because she should not go home on paper, because she has the ammunition to protect herself.
She should not go home.
She should not. And number 10,
she's an idiot.
And number 10, I do have Jesse. I do think he is the most vulnerable on red because he has no vote as well. But Jesse, for some reason, everyone's so drawn to him. Everyone likes him. He's now gone on a journey where he's made connections with Janine. He's made connections with people. Dwight and him had that joking, oh, our marriage is over, but they're still all a happy family. They've been winning ever since they got rid of NECA. That 4 is tight. I feel like Jesse, I don't think he's going to be our winner just because I think he's going to be too big of a threat, almost like Noel too, where if you let them get to the end, they have the story to win. But I think Jesse, because he's so low key, and this is what I said about Carla, Cassidy, and James. When you're so low key, you're never going to be the merge boot target. Look at who the merge boots were: Sydney and Lydia, the funny girl in Lydia, the sassy kind of antagonistic Sydney. It's always these bigger characters,
right?
And I really just don't see Jesse being the merge boot, because I also think his 3, I think that red is the closest tribe in general. Yellow is totally fractured. Blue just had sent Ryan on an island by himself. The 4 reds, if they stick together, they could really run things. Jesse doesn't have a vote, though, which makes me a little worried. But again, Noelle can steal a vote. So maybe Noelle will steal someone's vote and vote on behalf of Jesse. The 4 of them could do something together. I don't know. I think Jesse's okay. And Noelle is my 11th, just because if she plays her steal a vote, I could see people then being like, oh, let's get her out, because she isn't.
I was going to say, Noelle is way too low, man. She's way too low for you.
The thing is, though, like, she is the person that if she's vulnerable, they're going to try to take a shot at, I think, every time she's safe, because they don't want to be sitting next to her in the end. And with no vote for Jesse, that's only 3 votes they have. And if Noelle steals a vote, that's still only 4 votes. If yellow and blue just tag together. But again, with all these idols, anything can happen, because Cody can then put his idol on Noelle and everything goes up in flames. You know what I mean? Like, anyone can go home. And that's what I think is so awesome about this merge. But I think Noelle, because she has the power, I think that'll make her an even bigger threat if she uses it. Whereas Jesse doesn't have a vote, but I think people are going to still vouch for him and kind of fight for him. And I don't think anyone's top of the list priority is Jesse. But I don't know. Who's your 10? Who's your 11?
My 10 is Cassidy. Your love, your everything.
She's my favorite player on the season. Okay, keep going.
I get what you mean. I know she was. I mean, I don't need to say too much. I just think that she rides such a thin line of being a good player and someone who is beginning to overplay, and when there's really no reason to overplay. I think that she could situate herself in well, but even even disagreeing with Carla and James. I mean, your 2 teammates decide like, hey, we're going to go for the majority, immediately agree. I hate to say it, but it's one of those things where you will still be in the majority if you win next week or for next tribal. You will still always be in the majority. To do something like that, I think, is just a small little move that has such a big potential to come back and really bite her in the ass. I just don't see a way where I just think here's what I will say. I will say if Carla and James don't vote her out, they deserve to lose to her. If they don't vote her out when they have the opportunity, then they deserve to lose to her.
And that's another thing fair. Is, if you remember, there was a scene in 41 where the Blue Tribe was talking about, we got to get out Erica. Remember, they try to throw the challenge to get rid of Erica, but then Nasir comes in and wins it for them. And they're like, that was our shot to get rid of Erica. And then Erica goes on to win. They did that about Marianne, too. When they voted out Mariah over Marianne, Omer said, I hope we're not regretting it, not getting rid of Marianne here. And then Marianne goes to win and takes out Omer. I'm worried we kind of got that moment with them last week where they're like,
I think that was
get rid of Cassidy. And then, because if Cassidy wins, that's going to be the moment where we go back to him where they should have gotten rid of her then. Because I really do think, Cassidy, I don't even think Cassidy made a bad, okay, Cassidy, I think everyone was on board to get rid of Ryan. But then Gio comes back and shows the knowledge is power. Then Carla wants to flip on Gio. So James and Cassidy also join Carla in voting out Gio. And then we, the audience, see her when she's voting out Gio take the credit. So I think everyone was still on board with her move to get rid of Ryan. I don't think it was only afterwards when they flipped to Gio where she was still but maybe we should still go Ryan. That was the only time there was ever pushback. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see her as a winner yet. I didn't see Erica as a winner though, so that's
true. Well, also they barely gave her an edit, so
I was gonna say take my my opinion with a grain of salt.
This is me being also the fact is I picked for my final 3. I picked Owen, Carla, and Cassidy, and you picked Dwight, Carla, and Cassidy. So it's kind of fun that I want to keep rolling with my final 3 that I predicted from the start, but I know. Right. This week, I don't think Cassidy's too safe because also she doesn't have protection in that sense. No. If they go for blue, if Ryan is we got to get rid of those 3, they're not going to go Carla and James. They're probably going to go Cassidy. That's a good point. But for some reason, I'm just getting that underdog vibe from her. And I hope I'm right because I really like her. But I don't know. That's going to be our whole thing this whole season is is Cassidy going to win or not? And once she goes home, you're going to say, I told you so. And once she wins, I'll be able to say, I told you so. So it's going to be a matter of who gets the one up.
At 11,
I do agree.
At 11, I have Jesse, and again, you said pretty much what I said. I have a red, I have a blue, and I have a yellow at the bottom because I feel like that's
the same bottom
just always what you need to do. I think Jesse is honestly the most vulnerable right now, even with how much they like him. I just think that there's too much of a potential for a move to be made in which Jesse is just the odd one out. because if Cody plays an idol, or they're afraid of Cody playing an idol, and again, like all they need to do is split their vote. If she, because again, all she needs to do is steal like Cody. All she needs to do is steal Cody or Jesse's vote. She steals one of their votes. They say, well, or sorry, she steals Cody's vote. She writes down Cody and Dwight, or sorry, Cody and Jesse. Dwight writes down the other one. No matter what, one of them goes home, because if Cody uses the idol on himself, then all the votes are for James. If Cody uses the idol on Jesse, then all of the votes go to Cody. I mean, there's just...
but that's also if they get all of yellow and blue to agree. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course, but I still think that... Oh, yeah, you're right. But I still think that
I agree. If
there's more potential for him to leave. Well, there's more potential for him to leave.
Yeah, because we're talking about this in a merge sense, but at the same time, they, in their minds, going into this week, are thinking, okay, if we go to tribal next, here's what's going to happen now that Jesse doesn't have a vote. So they're thinking about it in the sense that if it does go to 4, it's just now that the merge is happening. Like, I think this merge saves a lot of people. I think this definitely saves Jesse.
I agree.
I think this definitely saves, like, Owen and Sammy, the two that could have been, in that crossfire with Gabler and the girls. And I think it definitely saves someone... Even though I have him at number 12, I think it saves Ryan as well, because Ryan has the potential now to be a swing vote. If Ryan's your 12 too, I'm going to be shocked.
He is. I got to be honest with you, man. I just don't see a way that Ellie wins.
We both have the same. We both wrote down the same name.
Yeah, I don't see a way in which Ellie gets out of this, and that's just the truth. She
can win immunity. She can win.
I don't. It's heartbreaking to watch. I just like looking at the way that they've set up that episode. I mean, like I've been really trying to give her the benefit of the doubt the whole season, and this episode was just such a. I don't think I've ever had Gabler higher than Ellie. I really don't, and even having her this low. I mean,
you have Gabler in your top 2 and you have Ellie in your bottom. This is a weird day, Zach.
I think
and I'm picking Cassidy to win. And what is this day? What is this day?
I think it's a game move. It's gonna keep my lead for me if Ellie goes home. It doesn't feel good by any means. It feels absolutely garbage. But I gotta ask you though.
Like, I know you like her because of that first week, but like, do you still like her? Because I feel like the edit is making her look really bad.
I like her.
I don't think she's as likable anymore. Like, they're giving her kind of the crazy edit with the eyes too, her bug eyes and stuff. Like, I like Ellie because I think she has potential in Survivor, but like the fact that she's so gung ho about Gabler's not going to play his idol. We're going to get Gabler. Like, the guys were fist pumping when Janine revealed that she lost her vote. Which is, again, why did you tell the tribe you lost your vote?
Well, I think that was such a. I honestly think that the worst part about Ellie is Janine, and it just so happens that Janine has an idol. I'm going to be real with you. I think that if Janine doesn't have an idol, she goes home over Ellie, and I just do think that that's true. But because
also you could get rid of Janine to weaken Ellie if you want. But the fact is, you can't do that now because she has an idol.
No, and I think
the logical thing is to split votes with the two of them, and then if Janine plays her idol, Ellie goes home. If Janine doesn't, Janine goes home.
Janine, ironically, both saved herself and like probably ruined her game, if I'm being honest with you, because to get the idol is amazing because you'll stay another week or another however many times, but to lose your closest ally going into the merge and become a free agent, I mean, to go into the merge a free agent like Ryan, that's why he's 12 for me, is brilliant. Because you owe no one anything and no one has seen you scramble.
But at the same time, it is an easy vote if they all just want to kind of say, okay, let's
to go into the merge after losing your biggest ally at the merge, I mean, her game's over if that's what happens. Yeah. I just truly think that she can survive however many weeks knowing that she has the idol in her pocket. But even still, they can still get rid of her if she screws up and doesn't play it. It hurts to put Ellie this low. I do like Ellie. I think she has a lot of potential. I think in a different season where Gabler doesn't get that idol and really just like maneuvers his way with the guys, I think she wins. But because he had this dumb freaking idol and honestly, I do think that she still stays if they go to tribal earlier. If they go to tribal before Janine finds the idol, I don't think she goes over her. I think Janine still goes because she's less of an asset in a tribe setting when you're split. But to go to tribal with Gabler having immunity, Janine having no vote, and her having an idol, I mean, unless she's got immunity, it's over. It's over. It sucks.
And the edit is also dogpiling.
The edit has
every episode they're saying, like, they're having Ellie go, "Oh, we're gonna get Gabler, and the very next scene is Sammy going to Gabler, being like, "Dude, we're getting those girls out." And that's
I still think Gabler's an idiot. I still think Gabler's an absolute idiot.
But
being like
Gabler
her fake idol.
Gabler at least knows that he has to play the idol, and like I think that's a good thing. Like, and I think Sammy's the reason why Gabler is as smart as he is, or as in tune to the game as he is, because I think Sammy's stock has risen so much. Like, Sammy was always low on my list because he is a threat, but now in the merge, I think Sammy's the one who can slip under and really ride it out. I mean, we saw Peridium's 4 contenders. It was the 3 women on blue, and one of them's gone. Lindsay's gone, so it's Carla, Cassidy, and Sammy. Peridium has Sammy in his top 4.
If you had to pick a winner pick, who would it be, Reese? She says Sammy, and I do have to agree. I think Sammy's probably, if we're asking for like a new winner pick, I think that I have 2 that I think I'm getting a little bit of traction back on Dwight, but not a lot. I just don't think he, as of right now, there's a lot of game left. But I think as of right now, he's got to build his resume a little bit more. He just looks like a second in command to someone. But that does lead me to my thought process. I do think that Noelle does, if she continues to maneuver this well, I think she does have the ability to win. I think Sammy.
She wins
I think Sammy has more of an ability to win because he has so much to draw from. So much. He's got the whole issue with Gabler. If they get rid of Ellie, he can absolutely take credit for that. He is smart. He's the reason that they didn't go to tribal last week in the first place. Like, he consistently shows his worth, and I can't believe he was at the bottom of your rankings for so many weeks, because I just have never not seen an asset for him being there.
It was because if Gabler is safe and the girls pull in Owen, the girls in Owen can only vote for Sammy. That was my whole thinking.
Yeah, I thought
Owen was going to side with the girls, but I think it's been made very clear right now that Owen is with the guys. Like, I think Owen, Sammy, and Gabler are tight 3. I think Carla, James, and Cassidy are tight 3. Honestly, if the rest of them are smart, because it's 7 other people. If the red 4 bring in the 2 girls on yellow, Janine and Ellie, and they also bring in the 1 on blue, Ryan, that's your 7. You can go after those 3s. You can go after those trios. And then Cassidy, Carla, and James, and then who are the other 3? Sammy, Gabler, and Owen. They lose all the power. So I really do think there's a lot of maneuvers this merge can take. Obviously, we're 20 minutes past it, so like people watching this video know who's gone home, and we will hours from now know as well. But West Coast, I hope you enjoyed this. So that's our predictions. We both predicted Ellie as the merge boot. Very interesting. We'll see how that turns out. Let's just talk about a few other shows. Let's talk about a few other shows real quick. So Rich and Don did go home on the mega leg of Amazing Race. I had them in the 10 spot, so I got a whole 12 points for that. So I went up to 31 to Zach's 26. He had them in the 5 spot, which means 8, 7. He only got 7 points for that because he was 7 placements away. And then the next week, Sharik and, oh my God, I forget his daughter's name. The father-daughter pair went home. They were my first boot prediction, so I was 3 placements off, so I only got 9 points for that, whereas Zach was 2 placements off, so he got 10 points for that, which brings my total to 40. Zach's to 35. There's not really much to say. Derek X and Claire are killing it. The Military Brothers look like the favorites to win. I haven't really been keeping.
I don't know, man. I think DX and Claire might still be the favorites to win. They just they have so many ups and downs. I mean, remember, like Penn and Kim, what the hell was Penn? Penn and Kim had a lot of ups and downs. They didn't start really pulling through until the end, and then they became Ryan and Dusty looked like the favorites for a while.
Right, and that's what I'm seeing is the Military Brothers might be the Ryan of Dusty figure, but it's also interesting because like even when Derek and Claire, because they have made some big mistakes, they will dip, but then immediately they'll kind of come back. And even if they come back after being low, you're muted by it. Yeah, there you go. Even if they're low and they come back up, like they still land in 4th or 5th place, which right now is really good out of however many there are 8 people left. So 4th place is still top half. It's just, as it goes on, they have to stop making the little mistakes if they want to stick it out. They're
Right.
still my winner pick. But tonight at 10, the episode airs, and we're getting in the preview, we saw that someone's going to get disqualified for COVID because they tested positive. So I'm very sad. I hope it's not Derek X and Claire.
That's right.
Someone gets sent home for COVID, but it'll be interesting. They're actually in Jordan, which is where my brother and his girlfriend went for their study.
I heard all about it.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
That was
on the drive
crazy.
home. Yeah, so the Amazing Race is there, so it's kind of cool.
Don't go to Jordan, everyone.
No, but they were watching.
Don't go to Jordan.
They were. I was actually home for my mom's birthday last week when it was on TV, and they were pointing out all the locations. They were like, "Yeah, we walked there. We bought food there," and it was like, "Wow, this is so cool."
That is
now
so
let's
cool.
talk briefly. I say briefly because we haven't talked in a few weeks about Dancing with the Stars, and in the few weeks since, I forgot to watch the episodes before the last episode, so like. I was the Elvis and Bond dance behind. And then this past week, we got the Selma Blair week, which was so heartbreaking, where she went home.
Oh, devastating.
Then we also got prom night on top of that and the Buble night. So we have 5 rounds of dance. So instead of doing like 50 scores of just going through each one, we're instead just going to give a score to their overall performances the past few weeks, and then talk about which dance we've liked the most of theirs so far, kind of like as a mid-season grade and assessment. But I do want to bring them up just because they've gone home. Cheryl and Louie, very sad to see them go. It's been so long. But yeah, man, like I'm upset. I'm upset to see them go only because, yeah, honestly, it's because I do think the older people have a tougher time in general, that I was like really excited to see the potential that Louis could bring from her. And because Louis is one of my favorite OG pros, I was excited to see him continue. But yeah, it was their time to go. I would give her probably a 5 or 6 for her mid-season grade.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I don't have much to say.
It was very sad, just because I do think they really wanted it. Next week, though, we see Sam and Cheryl finally go home, too. Another older person going home. Also very sad because I love Sam and I love Cheryl. I love their bond.
I'd give him a 6 for the season, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
6.
I think they were.
He had a couple. His first weeks were strong. His first weeks were strong. His following was
rough Greatest Showman week. Yeah, for Disney Plus night, which is why I think he did go home, because he was in the bottom 2 with I think Trevor. So it's like, yeah, he's going to go home for that. Yes, in the bottom 2 with Trevor, and then he went home. And then the next week, oh man, this one broke my heart. Selma unfortunately withdrew from the competition.
I mean, I hate to say it, it's one of those things that we all silently probably expected. And we're hoping that it wasn't going to occur, mainly just because listening to her talk about it and listening to even just in rehearsals, her talking about how it's affecting her body. It's just one of those things where you have to keep this up for how many couples enter in? Is it 12,
I think
13?
At the start of the season, it was 15. Yeah, it was a lot.
Something but you're going through a lot of weeks and a lot of dances. For every week especially now, for every week there's basically 2 dances. So you got to just think longevity. What I'm going to give her a 10 out of 10 for her performance overall, mainly because also to get out such an important story and talk about her, her struggles and her journey was beautiful. And I'm glad, because I don't think a lot of people knew Selma Blair. And O'Brien said that she withdrew after getting a perfect score.
Yeah, and that's true. Yeah,
she
withdrew. She actually withdrew before. She withdrew in rehearsals, and then they danced one last waltz, and then the judges did give her a perfect score, which is really nice. A nice fitting way to send off. It was very sad though to see her go, but I did think it was needed, because the week before she did that quick step to the Muppets, and I was amazed she was able to do that. All the jumping and hopping around.
Right. Brian's sussing out his competition before I face him in a Marvel Trivia League competition right now.
Yeah, we're filming.
Hi, Brian.
So then the next week, and I know you have hot takes, or not hot takes, but I know you're not a fan. But Joseph and Danielle.
No, I just don't like Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, but he's such a nice guy, though.
Clearly, America didn't like him enough either. No, not his personality.
You don't like his dance.
I just thought
his breakthrough, he did that rumba and then that cha-cha, and I think that was nice because he didn't do any lifts and he was just getting to dance. And when he finally broke through there, that's when he went home, and that was sad because he was in the bottom 2 with Heidi, and I'll tell you later, I don't love Heidi. I think she's severely overscored, to where I was almost kind of pulling that they'd save him. I was pulling for them to save him, but I understand why they didn't. I think his Hercules dance was atrocious. I think it was terrible, the Charleston, but I do think his next few dances were actually pretty good. Oh, okay. This is not the right site for you. I'm so sorry. Free Girls in U City.
Wow. Can't wait.
Um,
That's fine.
Thank
Pad the
you for
viewer
watching.
count. Pad the
Yeah,
viewer count,
thank you
please.
for watching. Yeah. No, but Joseph, I think he was finally improving past the I could just lift everyone, and then as soon as he was, they kind of sent him home, and it sucks because that's how the show works. And I'm wondering if they didn't have the whole bottom 2 judges pick thing, if they just picked the bottom 1, I'm wondering if Heidi would have gone home instead. But we'll never know. I would give him a 6 though, because
We'll
I do
never
think
know.
he was really improving, and he did kind of come into his own the last few weeks. So
5 because I'm vindictive.
yeah,
No, I mean,
you don't love the lifts. Yeah.
No, and not even that I don't love the lifts. I just don't. You know what? I'll give you this. I think we saw a lot. I think we ended up seeing a lot of improvement throughout. But I mean, from the very beginning, one of the things that always makes me so frustrated is, and I said this in our group chat, a lift is not a dance move, and a lift is a wonderful tool for dancers to use to lead into a new phrase. Dancers, please don't come for me. But because I've been around many dancers, and I think that lifts are beautiful, but they have to have a lead into a next portion of the dance. And I felt with Iman, I felt like that was exactly what was occurring. With Joseph, I didn't really feel like it was occurring that way. It's just, we get it. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. He's really strong. And that just, to me, that was never, it played the wrong thing. And I felt like I didn't get to see enough of him as a person through his dance.
Mm-hmm. And I do think that's what he was hitting on the last week. It just, the votes were not there.
Right.
And then the past week we did lose Jesse and Alan. Jesse, I was shocked when she won the big marathon on prom night, when she was the last one standing, when they did the grease thing where they tapped everyone on the shoulder and told them to leave. But honestly, good for her, because I think she was doing some impressive dancing there. Like, I think it was a good season moment for her, but I don't think she was on par with the rest. I would give her a 7 because I do think she brought a lot of good energy. It's just she didn't have the technique. She was always there for performance and entertainment, and she could keep up with the choreography, but it was sloppy. To where like I couldn't see her continuing. And the fact that Trevor has now landed in the bottom 2 twice and has been saved, I think is a testament to how Trevor's improving, whereas Jesse was slowly improving, but it was kind of the same as week 1. She was always hitting the choreography, but it was never polished. And I think that's just her downfall.
Yeah, Trevor this week was good. I was shocked.
Yeah, well, let's transition
we'll
to
talk
him.
about it.
Let's do it now. Trevor has landed in the there it goes. There we go. Trevor has been in the bottom 2 twice, but he has managed to get out of it. Trevor so far, I'm not loving him, but I do think him and Emma have one of the best connections, and I think that goes a long way. I think his week 2 rumba was fantastic. His Elvis dance is always on my mind. Was I think stunning. That has been my favorite dance of his. I would give him a 7 in general. I think he's been doing pretty solid. I still think he's got a little bit of ways to go, especially in some of the faster up-tempo stuff. But I like how he kind of like dropped the whole nervous act. I don't know if that's because he was kind of just acting or if he's just finally coming into his shell. But week 1, he was such a nervous wreck. And then week 2, he's like doing a suave, sexy dance to where Alfonso was like, is there something going on between you two? And that's something we could talk about off air. But I like Trevor.
I like him. I think this week really solidified him for me. I think that he reminds me of Iman in the way that like he clearly shows not only the want to continue to improve, but the drive to, and it showcases itself week after week. I know he continues to end up in the bottom 2, but like you said, there's a reason he keeps getting saved. And I don't remember, did Iman ever end up in the bottom 2?
No. Nope.
No, so like I was gonna say, I don't think Iman ended up in the bottom 2, but to end up in the bottom 2 so many times and still continue to make it, I mean, they have to have some faith in you, and you have to keep giving them a reason to keep you. So I mean, and that stands to say, like Jesse wasn't in the bottom 2 before this, and they said, you know what, this is your time to go, even though you've been here, someone else has been here multiple times.
Yeah. So Trevor, what score are you giving him for his overall season so far?
I'd give a 7. I think that he's slowly but surely improving.
Yeah. Now moving on, I'll just go. Oh, actually, I want to also say what song they're doing for Halloween night on Monday. Trevor will be doing a contemporary routine to Justin Bieber's Ghost, the acoustic version. So I kind of like that. Like he's doing Ghost.
That's gonna be fun. I'm excited
be a good
for that
too. So I'm excited. Let's talk about another person who's landed in the bottom 2. We already kind of teased her. Heidi and Artem. Heidi and Artem, I think, have a great technique. I think of technical dancing, she is probably one of the top people. It's like top 3 or 4 in terms of technique. But what she's lacking is the emotion, the musicality. It's just her doing the steps, and I'm not feeling anything from her. I'm giving her a 7 as well because I think the technique is so good, but her performance is so bad that it kind of evens out in the middle. And I think Trevor is a worse dancer, but Trevor is more exciting to me. But Heidi's a better dancer. She's not
Yeah.
going that extra mile that even her daughter is doing right now. And I think
Well,
she
and
just
I was
needs
going
to
to say,
emote a little bit more, I think. Yeah.
she's at the detriment of the fact that her daughter is someone who shares her, her genes and who she's around all the time. I mean, like, Charlie showcases such emotion, such poise, and to see her week after week consistently kind of lack that, I mean, it's boring. And this is about the time where, great, your technique, usually the technique is the last thing to come. When your emotion is the last thing to come, I feel like you have less of a cushion to kind of get a hold on that. So I don't really see her going too far. Dylan, I'm going to give her a 6. I'm going to give her a 6.
That's fair. I mean, I really just think if she steps up and actually commits to like feeling the music and stuff, I think she could be really good. It's just right now.
I still just don't think she's a celebrity, but that's also just my opinion.
Well, let's talk about her daughter because, oh boy, I have never.
Wow.
Here's the thing: when people come into the show with some dance experience, I'm always like, okay, come on. But the fact that the top 3 score getters have always been the 3 who have dance experience, Charlie, Gabby, and Wayne. Now I'm looking at it as, okay, of the people who have dance experience, who do I like the best? It's got to be Charlie. Charlie is just so much fun.
It's Charlie, man. She's unbelievable.
I don't love Charlie in terms of like, I don't love the fact that someone, like I said, with previous dance experience is so good. But at the same time, we got to think TikTok is not ballroom. It's just not. And we see flavors of the TikTok stuff, like this kind of hip moves. And I think that's what's so brilliant about Mark is that he's integrating that choreography within these steps, the ballroom technique. And I like the marriage of ballroom and kind of modern stylings. I think Mark is doing an amazing job catering to her strengths while also pushing her and kind of trying to push her creatively. I think this foxtrot she did this previous week is one of the best things I've ever seen. Her fever foxtrot.
Oh my God,
it got a perfect 10. I'm giving her a 10 so far for the midseason. I think she's
10.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I thought about giving her a 9, but honestly, I just like, she's so high on this on the show right now. I just I don't think there's we've seen a lot of people. I'm going to tell you right now, I do love Wayne Brady, and we'll talk about him when he gets there. But like, Wayne has a ton of previous dance experience, and he's obviously been doing this a lot longer than Charlie. And I don't think he's as clean as Charlie is. And that's something to say. That's not just about the star; that's also about their partner. And I agree with you. I think that their partner work, both the choreography that's being given and then the way that they work on the floor together, I think it's the strongest of any partner right now. I'm going to tell you right now, unless she has a week where she completely like just botches, she's coming to the final 3, no problem.
Oh, yeah,
in fact, she's the winner.
I don't know if she'll win because of the whole JoJo Siwa thing. I don't know if America will vote her to win. I don't know.
Oh, I think America will vote for her to win, and I'm going to call it. I have 2 people who I think are the top contenders to win right now. She is one of them. She's one of them.
Yeah. Actually, Brian says right here, I'm surprised Vinny's still in the competition after getting low scores 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, Vinny's the next to talk about, and I'll be honest, I was really a fan of like the whole like, he's not a dancer and he's trying his best, but at this point now, it's starting to become a little bit more like, all right, it's his time to go. Like, I really do think so. I'm giving him a 5 just because I haven't seen growth in terms of technique. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
Oh, the moves he's hitting are good, but he can't really transition between the two. He doesn't really have musicality. His best dances are the ones where he's kind of doing like the funky, like almost party dance like nature. I'm not feeling it for Vinny. He's a 5 for me only because I just think he's leagues and bounds under the rest. Even though I do like watching him, I don't know.
I'm going to give Vinny a 6, not because I think that you're wrong. I actually agree with you. But what I'm really hoping is that this confidence I'm trying to give him like pushes him. Because I think that, again, and I said it the first time we talked about it, I think Vinny's at the biggest detriment. He's with a brand new partner. She's never been on the show before. She's really trying to find her own. That puts them at a disadvantage. So she hasn't really found her groove yet. And to be one of the people with absolutely like zero dance experience and working with someone who doesn't have, their foot in the door, so to speak. Obviously she's on the show, but like, this is something for her as well. Like, this is a time to prove herself. I think that he's got a tough job. And I think that
I don't think that he's doing great. In fact, like if I was giving him a realistic score, I'd give him a 4. But I'm giving him a 6 because I think that there are enough roadblocks kind of up against the both of them that what they've been doing so far has been really admirable. That being said, I think him or Heidi are the ones going home this next week. I just don't know which, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of them in the bottom 2 with Trevor, and they're like, sorry.
Yeah. Now moving on to someone who I think is also gaining confidence, but also does feel like still someone who's trying to overcome that. It's Daniel and Britt. Daniel has had one of the toughest roads because he can't hear the music. And I do think kind of similar to Vinny, as everyone's getting better, Daniel's flaws are showing a little bit more. I would give him a solid 7 because I do think I love watching Daniel, but I do think still the technique is there, but the seamlessness between the moves, there needs to be a little bit more musicality. And it's obviously difficult for him. So I think Britt is really going to have to push herself to really try to really make everything seamless.
Yeah.
But I think he's just so impressive to watch, and I'm rooting for him. I really still hope he makes the finals just because I like Daniel and I like Britt. I love what they're doing together. I love their connection, their chemistry. I hope they date. I just love them both. What are your thoughts on Daniel? I'm giving him like a 7 because I think he has a lot of room to grow still, but I think he's still one of the most fun to watch.
I'm going to give him an 8, and I still will agree with you that I think he has room to grow, but I think he's just so unbelievably impressive. The way that he is navigating through a show in which basically everyone else has the ability to hear and do more with their, natural senses than he does, but still navigates so beautifully around. I agree, everything could be smoother, but I mean, again, Vinny has all of his senses, and it doesn't really help him out. And that's one of those things where to know that someone who has all of their senses still does not have nearly as much poise as someone who really has to, to not advocate for themselves, but work their way around a handicap like this. I think he's doing beautifully. I hope he makes it to the final. I can see him not ending up in the final, which would make me sad, but I understand. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Cool. Moving on now to someone who is kind of the opposite. Like they're almost too loud to the point where it's so entertaining. That's Shangela and Gleb. Shangela and Gleb have been so much fun to watch. This was one of your Final Four picks preseason. So tell me, what do you think of these two?
I said that there was another final winner pick for me, and this is it, man. This is it.
Nice.
This is it. I think Shangela is so unbelievably impressive. I said it when we started. The drag queens have more poise and what's the word that I used that time? Discipline than any of us could ever hope to have. And I think that that's what's so important. Shangela has done so many different styles and has never won. She made the whole crispy joke this week, which I thought was hilarious. But they follow. Not only did she make the joke, but she followed through on the dance floor, and the notes and the feedback that she continues to receive, I think that will bring her to the end. And it's not like Charlie, who has previous dance experience. It's not like Wayne, who has previous dance experience. I actually think for her, the experience that she has being a drag performer is the thing that's not only so impressive, and obviously she's got the fan base to prove it, but she's driven. She's driven and continues to push herself every single week. And I'm excited because I see final potential in her. I see not only just Final Four, I see final overall winner pick for the season potential in Shangela.
Yeah,
Girl,
so what are you giving her as a score? I'm giving her an 8 because I think she's just been so much fun to watch.
I'm gonna give her a 9, baby.
Nice.
I'm gonna give her a 9.
Love it.
She deserves it.
Yeah, I'm going to go through some of the front runners right now just because we're a little short on time. But Gabby and Val have been so much fun to watch. They've been so amazing. I'm giving them a 9 as well. I just think
9.
Bachelor Nation has such a good 9, just so good. Her reputation is great. She is another one who has kind of dancing experience, but she is showing us a different side of her. We've never seen this kind of romantic, sexy side.
No,
she's obviously very beautiful, but she's also been very quirky on Bachelorette, where this is how we're actually seeing the real soul trick side, which I really like. She's really showing all the different range and dynamics there. So I'm a big fan of hers.
I love her. Part of Dancing with the Stars that's so important is you have to enjoy who you're watching, not just enjoy their dancing, but just enjoy them overall. And she has proven through her dancing not only why Gabby was a good choice to be the Bachelorette, but why she is someone who people kind of enjoy like projecting themselves onto. Someone who like people enjoy seeing themselves, seeing part of themselves in someone to look up to. And she continues to showcase that through every single week when she gets up and she dances. She's such a good partner. She's such a great presence. I love her so much.
Yeah, so we both gave her a 9. Moving on to another frontrunner, Wayne and Whitney. They were my preseason and your preseason winner picks. I think Wayne took a little bit of a dip this week because he obviously was sick, didn't get to rehearse, had a little bit of a rough go, but I still give him a 9 for the season because he has been so consistent. I'm almost wishing he almost kind of goes another step higher. Like I feel like Charlie's already hit like her peak and she's still grooving there, whereas I think Gabby and Wayne still have a little bit more to go. But she's still really great.
Well, and I think I alluded to it. I think the biggest thing about Wayne is that like he's got so much more experience than Charlie, and she's kicking his butt right now. She's kicking his butt every single week. She's consistent every single week. He ebbs and flows, and there's nothing wrong with the ebbs and the flows of it. But what I do not, the reason I almost gave him an 8, but I was like, I'm going to give him a 9 is because, I as an actor, you never tell the audience that you were sick. You never tell an audition. You never tell the audition room that you were sick, because then everyone sees you dance and they go, "Oh, well, that wasn't so bad, Wayne. Like, what do you mean?" And that's what Twitter was like. They were like, "Could have fooled me." You're not tricking me, Wayne Brady. I know. I see you, man. I see you. 9, but you should get an 8.
And finally, wrapping it up with Jordan and Brandon. Jordan has been like someone who is always very good, but like just hasn't stood out because she hasn't gotten the same scores as the others. But like that Coco Remember Me dance was so good. And like her last dance was also so good. Like I have found myself giving her a lot higher scores week to week, but also when she's not on it, she's a little sloppy. So I'm giving her an 8 because I think it's a good balance between 9 and 7, where I've landed on all her dances. She's either a 9 or she's a 7. Like I haven't found much in between, but she's always been above average.
I'll agree with that.
Jordan. Cool.
I'll agree with that. I don't have too much to add. I'm also going to give her an 8. Again, it was a little closer to a 7, but I'm going to give her the 8. Because I think that there's potential there. I would like some more consistency. That's what I will say. I would like some more consistency from Jordan. If she can nail that, then we're in.
So who are your final 4 picks now, having watched half the season? Obviously, we have Charlie and Mark in our final 4, right?
Yes, of course.
I have Gabby. I'll tell you mine. I have Charlie and Mark, Gabby and Val, Wayne and Whitney, and then I do think the 4th person who gets in there is going to be Daniel and Britt. I don't have Shangela and Glad. They're like my 5th, only because I think if there's going to be one crazy week where like it's going to be Shangela and Wayne or something, or Shangela and Gabby in the bottom 2, and I just know they're probably going to go for the ones that have scored better, and I think Daniel has the story. Daniel's never been in the bottom. I still think Daniel's solid to go through. So that's the same final 4 I had preseason, except instead of Jordan, I have Gabby. Preseason, I did have Jordan. But who is your top 4, or the 4 you think are going to be in the finale?
Charlie, Shangela, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Gabby, and Daniel.
So you don't have
Wayne Brady's. I think Wayne's going to slip up. That's you know what? That's what the energy is giving me. I think like just like the being sick, and I think he's going to slip up one night. I think he's going to slip up. I may regret that. He'd be a great season winner, but I actually think Charlie's going to win this season. If I'm honest.
I'm agreeing with you, but I forgot to continue telling everyone what they were going to do for their Halloween night. So let me go through it. Charlie and Mark are dancing an Argentine tango to Tangira from Fabio Hager Sexteto. It sounds like a classical piece, so they're probably going to do some crazy thing. I mean, Mark on Halloween night is going to create something amazing. Gabby and Val are doing an Argentine tango to a song called Shivers by District 78. Very interested to see what that is as well. Heidi and Artem, as I said, are going to be doing a tango to I Want to Be Your Slave by Mainskin. Jordan and Brandon are doing a tango to the Oogie Boogie song from Nightmare Before Christmas.
As they should.
Angela and Gleb are doing a jazz routine to Look What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift. Trevor and Emma, like I said, are doing contemporary to Ghost by Justin Bieber. Vinny and Coco are doing a paso doble to the song Get Ghost by Mark Ronson. Wayne and Whitney are doing a contemporary routine to Halloween, the theme from Halloween from District 78. The do 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 do. That's gonna be good. And then Daniel and Britt are doing a paso doble to a song called "Bury a Friend" by Billie Eilish. And then they are doing team dances this week. There's a team comprised of Heidi, Vinny, Shangela, Jordan, and Gabby dancing freestyle to "The Witches Are Back" from Hocus Pocus 2. And then Wayne, Charlie, Trevor, and Daniel are going to be doing a freestyle to a song.
That's a really strong team.
So there's 5 versus 4. The 5, I'd say Vinny is the weak link there. I think though Heidi has the technique, Jordan hit or miss, Gabby and Shangela will carry that team. But then the other team, I think the only weak link is Daniel if he can't keep up with the whole team. But it's Trevor, Charlie, and Wayne, which should be pretty good. So
yeah.
Charlie and Wayne in a dance together is going to be fun. But that's your Dancing with the Stars recap, y'all. Let me just rattle off our picks, our scores. In last, we do have Vinny and Coco with 11. Then above that, we have Heidi and Artem with 13, Trevor and Emma with 14, Daniel and Britt with 15, Jordan and Brandon with 16, Shangela and Gleb with 17, and then tied for second, we have Gabby and Val and Wayne and Whitney with 18, and then at the top, we have Charlie with a perfect 20. Charlie's just going to kill the season, I hope.
I think she's going to win.
I'm excited to see what she does, and honestly, I think Mark has a big thing to do with that, too. I think Mark should take all that credit because he's amazing. But Zach, where can they find you? Because we got to get off this in 5 minutes. I'm going to send you a link to do a trivia match, and I'm going to let you take some time to decompress. But where can they find you?
You know where you can find me. My Twitter's at the below. Instagram, ZLove with 3 E's. TikTok, ZLove3Es39. You can find me on YouTube at Zachary Love. I put out a really amazing speech a couple weeks ago where I talked about the power of weight loss and the power of having a why. And honestly, I think it's very, reality TV is super about that. So you should watch if you can.
That's right. And you can find me all the places down below. I'm not going to waste our time too much longer because Zach has a trivia match to prepare for that'll be out on Halloween on Monday. So I'm very excited. Zach, if you want to put on a costume, you can, or I'll just let you study up and get ready. I'm not going to be in costume. Don't worry. All right, everyone.
I was like, I don't know what's going on. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.